All right, I see 5 people watching. If you would, guys, when you come in, let's see. Jail, country cousin, what's going on? Hey, when y'all make it in, please let us know where you're watching from. Do we have Facebook watchers or are there just YouTube watchers? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? 47 people popped in that fast. Guys, thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for the support. We really, really do appreciate y'all, man. All right, so we got YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. I think everybody's going to be coming in from YouTube. I want to make sure because we are using StreamYard today, so that we can have Kyron in with us as well. Guys, he'll be in just a minute. We just uh, we just got him on the line, and he went to go get him a bottle of water, which I should have did too. So again, man, shout out to the Hook City TV family. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what we're here for. We have been doing a raffle that was closed. There is the man right there, man. That's my boat captain right there, Jackson. There he is right there, man. Kyron, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Hey,
Good.
so we have 73 people on. Looks like it did go through YouTube. Everybody's here from YouTube.
Great.
Guys, I'm going to take just a second, and I want to find it on YouTube so that I can also share it to our supporters on Facebook because we do have a lot of cross members, people that are on Facebook as well as YouTube. There are some people that are on Facebook but not YouTube. So what's going on? What's going on? My man Jason Barry's in the building.
Jason. Hey, hey.
Um, and again, man, listen, we want to start by saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys for the support. As y'all know, I've said it a million times, man. It really meant a lot to us, and it really helped propel us, man. That we weren't worried about the financial side of things as we approach the tournament. You know, we could really focus on the fishing side of it, man. So thank you for that, guys. We're really excited that y'all are on tonight. And listen, there's about to be six, not lucky, but blessed winners. All right. We're going to be getting this random number generator out real soon so that we can find out who the winners are of 4 guide trips and 2 ACC crappie sticks. And that is coming soon. If y'all would, just bear with me. I'm going to see if I can get this thing on Facebook. Kyron, man, you got anything for him, man? While I'm doing this,
Yeah, I mean, I would echo what you said. The your contribution by way of not just money, but by way of
prayers.
thought, by way of prayer, by way of encouragement. It is not unnoticed, and it was much needed and deeply appreciated. So sincerely, thank all of you. Some people it was so much bigger than just the financial aspect of it, and we appreciated that too. But there was, we just felt like there was community behind us,
Yes,
rooting for us, pushing us in the back. Um, and that's pretty cool. That's a cool deal. It just felt right. So thank y'all very, very much. That's country, y'all. We're putting our
hey,
Texas in that thing. Thank y'all. Sincerely, thank you very much.
thank y'all, thank y'all. So, guys, again, what I'm doing right now is making sure we get to our family, friends, and loved ones, and Crappie Fishing Fools, Hook City TV fan page, and then again, you guys. So we want to make sure that people have time to see that we've went live. Again, the donation line closed at 8 o'clock, and it's now 9:12 Central Standard, and we're gonna get into it, man. So guys, listen. What I would like to do, Kyron, do you have a couple minutes, bro? I
Yeah, we're
want
good.
to
We're
maybe
good.
give them as we're letting people get in and all that kind of stuff and see the post. Maybe just go over, man, how you feel about the tournament, how we finished, what we were able to do, maybe challenges we faced, why we named it Testimony at Table Rock Part Two. Any of that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, so I think the tournament went as it was supposed to. Um, we would have, I think, initially desired to have, placed a bit higher. But all things considered, I think the tournament went as it was intended to go. And I think the greater good of the tournament was bigger than us winning the tournament. I think um, it was just a platform that God privileged us to have.
Right,
So that's kind of my takeaways. I really think all things considered, I think we did okay. I think we did good. I'm grateful for how we did. Tournaments, period. I mean, on 3-day tournament, it really boils down to consistency and being able to produce over a course of 3 days. To really put yourself in position, to have a chance at it. One thing that was very obvious to me, I mean, we were around the fish that gave us a chance at it. I mean,
right,
we were around fish to win, but that wasn't his plan for us to win the tournament per se, first place. But I think it was a space for us to maybe win in some other areas. And
right,
so, we did leave with the W. We left with a win for sure.
for
So
sure.
it was a really good tournament. I think some great relationships were forged by way of it. We didn't have some of the restrictions that that we had in years past. We were kind of limited in years past, but just by way of a very benevolent gesture, by Jimmy Jordan, he really opened up so many opportunities to us and gave us a shot at it. And so, man, I'm thankful. It was a wonderful experience. We had semi-favorable weather, relative to the last time we were there. It was a dogfight the last time.
Yeah.
This time wasn't too bad. So, all things considered, some of the challenges we faced. I mean, from an engine that didn't like a cover on it, which which we found out.
Shout out, my man Jason.
So if any of you run Pro XS and you don't have a vented cover, they don't like it too much. And we found out, the hard way, lost a day of pre-fishing and had, a little heart flutter on the last day of fishing.
Yeah, faith check. We had a faith check on day
Yeah,
three.
he doesn't like that cover.
Faith check.
Something as simple as that, you wouldn't think it makes that big of a deal, but the engine didn't like it. So some of the challenges, like I said, we lost a day of pre-fishing, so we really had 3 days of pre-fishing. But all in all, man, again, I think it was a faith check, and then it was a check of resilience, stick with itness. So it was really good, man. And I am happy to see some of see Hayden, win it. I'm excited that the sport um, is being joined by younger talent. Guys that can promote longevity of the sport and furtherance of the sport. So in that regard, I'm super stoked about it.
Right.
Because crappie is vibrant. Crappie fishing is vibrant, and to keep it going, we need people to join in and be a part. So it's cool. I don't know if you had any. I don't want to just talk my head off. I don't know
Oh,
if you,
brother, listen. You saying something, man. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Hey, so I tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and get the random number generator up,
yeah,
and we'll get our six winners, and then if I have a little time, and if you do as well, we can sit here and kind of chop it up, answer questions, whatever the people might have
yeah, for
for
sure.
us for a few minutes. So
I do
guys,
think before you do, I do think if for anybody who hadn't had a chance to read the article the ACC did, I thought it was a
yes,
pretty cool read.
I did, man. I enjoyed it a
I
lot.
did. I said, man, That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I think that kind of sums up the why, really what
Yes.
that tournament was about, and what it was about for us being down there. So, for anybody who hadn't seen it, I would encourage you. I think it was a really cool read.
Right. And I'm sure you can find that article on uh, the ACC website as well. The ACC, excuse me, www.accrappysticks.com. That article is in there as well. I've also shared it on on my personal page, Kenneth Pierce Facebook page. So you guys go check that out. Also, the ACC page on Facebook as well. You can find it there. And man, it really is a really cool read. I feel like, of course, I didn't hear you giving your interview um, to Greg, but I do feel like what I said is was really put out, and how I felt and what I saw going on at the tournament and how it played out for us. And man, I said it 2 years ago. Listen, if I mean you said it too. I mean you put it in the words on stage, but for me it was, if what us doing could bring anybody closer to Christ, or ignite something to make people say, well, man, who is this God they keep talking about? And then to come to find out that there was a guy saying that he wanted to commit suicide until he saw us on stage 2 years ago.
Right.
And then he decided, he wanted to live for his family and he wanted to live for Christ. Man, listen, bro, and it's gonna sound crazy when I say it. If we don't ever win one,
Worth it.
if I'm brother, if I'm helping people get closer to Christ, man, that's what I live for. That's what we're called to do. And so I'm good with that, man. And if we can do that through something that we love to do, which is crappie fishing, that makes it even more better for me, man. And boy, I tore that up even more better. But
More better.
I meant it just like
Yeah.
that. I promise.
More like better.
More like better, brother. So, yeah, man. Hey, check that article out. Check out the website and get to an ACC. The cool thing is, Andy now not only has rods, and listen, we use those brand new 6.5 foot ACCs,
It's a good
straight
route.
grip. Man, felt great in the hand, no fatigue, great backbone, sensitivity. Everything I needed was in that rod, and it came out right on time. But he also has some really good baits, jig heads, and then apparel, man. If you want to be looking good, you want to be a part of the green team, it's all there, man. It is all there. So, listen. So this is what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to try to make sure y'all see my screen. I want everybody to know that we're going to keep this thing just as fair as it can get. So Google gives me, where's my camera? Google gives me the random number generator. Uh-oh. And right now it says 1 through 10. I'm going to change that to 1 through 100. Make sure it's working. All right. So we're not using that number because I want to use the number that people see me press. Let me see if I get it there. Ugh. All right. So the first thing on the list, what was the first thing on the list, Kyron?
The first thing on the list
On the post.
is got two individual half-day guided trips or bluegill trips with me.
Okay, so we're gonna do the first one for Kyron Washington, and you can contact him at his cell phone number. What's your number, Kyron? And
It's 214
uh-huh.
926
Hmm.
1255.
And okay, and do we have a name for spot number
This
60?
spot 60 is not filled.
Spot 60 is not filled. God, listen. We're trying to get this stuff filled, so we're gonna have to hit it one more
Do it
time.
again. Yeah.
Let's see. Listen, and we appreciate everybody that gave, man. Let me do this. I'm trying to get this thing to where I can actually see what's going on at the same time. All right, we're good on the screen. Here we go again for the first crappie slash or bluegill trip with Kyron. Number 33. I think we had that one.
33. That's Romero Davis.
Romero. So number one, Romero Davis. And I'm gonna put KW next to his name for number one. So Romero Davis, are you here, Romero? we here? Zeke Anderson. Shout out to Zeke. He just he just texted me and say he will take spot number 60. So yeah. Yeah, no, Zeke.
he,
You missed us by about an hour, brother.
he said he'll take spot
He'll,
60.
he'll take spot 60. So
Yeah.
again, guys, the first crappie or bluegill trip. The winner is number 33, who is Romero Davis.
Oh, it's on the
All
time.
right. So now I'll hit this again, and it's going to be
It'll open.
for, where's my pen? It'll be for the second guide trip
It's annoying.
with Kyron for crappie or bluegill on a half day for one or two people. I'm going to hit my random number generator again. 98. Do we have a 98, brother?
Ooh, let's see. Jason Bear.
Hey, look out, man.
What'd you say, Jason?
Look out, Jason.
98.
And he is on here, man. My man
Let's
Jason.
go, man.
Man,
Let's go.
one of the longest, most active followers I got, friend and brother, man. Even took a guide trip with me before. So that's really cool, man. That's really cool. All right. Moving right along. Congratulations, Romero Davis
Congratulations,
and
Jason. Thank you,
Jason Bear.
brother. Thank you so much.
So that covers the two that you had, and now we're going into the half day live scope crappie fishing trip with me for one person, correct?
That is right. Yes, sir.
All right, all right. So let me get that back going. Y'all can see the number pretty clear. Hit generate. Number 15. Do we have a number 15?
Cornelius Walker.
Number 15, Cornelius. My brother, if you are on here, we need to hear from you. Make sure I'll write this stuff down so I don't forget it. Number 15, Cornelius Walker. Again, so for Romero and Jason, well, Jason, you know how to get with Kyron. Romero Davis, if you would, please give Kyron. You cool with taking a call or text message or email or how you want to do it, Kyron?
Yeah, just give me a shot. Just call me.
Okay, and that number again is 214 926
926 1255.
1255. Get with my man Kyron Romero and Jason Berry. You do the same, man. Again, guys, these trips and these winnings have to be taken before the end of 2023. So I mean, you got a full year. You got a full year, man, to get schedules aligned up and get going. And then again, number 15, Cornelius Walker. Man, you can hit me up, cell phone, you can hit me up, email address, HCTV2. I'll put it in the Facebook. I don't care how you do it, but HCTV2 at gmail.com. Hit me up, man. Let's get you on the books, man, so that we can do this trip for one, man. We're gonna be live scoping some crappie. All right. Okay, so we got one more. Let me turn that thing back on. Hold on. Y'all can't see my screen. My screen password. All right. So number 4 is gonna be the second live scope crappie trip with me for one person. Here we go. 64.
64. That is not taking.
Not taken. Listen, I can
You
take
want
it.
that now? Ask Zeke if he wants 64.
Zeke, you want number 64 too? Shout out to Slab Syndicate Crappie Jigs. Thanks for
Chris
being on,
Mucilek.
Chris. Yeah, man. Hey, y'all check him out, man. Look, he probably busy and don't want me to say this, but I tell you what, man, he makes a pretty jig. He makes a pretty
Some
jig.
cute
Y'all
ones. Some
check him
cute
out.
ones.
Some cutie pies.
Cute pie G. Cute
Cutie
pie.
pie jig. We're gonna switch them up. Let's see what we got here. Zeke just texted, I'll take it, baby. Okay. So again, oh shit, not taken. All right, so we got to hit this thing one more again. Let's see what we got here. 53.
53. Hey, Janice O'Neill.
Hey, look out. So 53 is Janice O'Neill. Again, that's for one person for the live scope crappie trip with Me. All right, Janice O'Neill and Cornelius Walker. Hope to hear from you soon. Again, what am I trying to say? The Gmail address or the email address is in the comment section. Please hit us up. And then Romero Davis and Jason Bear get with Kyron at his cell phone number. Um, so now we have two. Listen, again, man, shout out to my man Andy. He heard we were doing this to raise funds to help with costs at getting to Branson. And I asked, could we do a giveaway for some rods also? Um, Zeke said he want to go with Kyrie. He want to get out there with you, Kyrie. Zeke,
Let's go, Zeke. Let's go, brother.
Zeke the crappie freak. Well, y'all better know it. All right. So again, lastly, we have two ACC crappie sticks, guys. I think I just got Janice. Oh no, that's boy. Look. Okay. Anyway, we love you right back, Ricky McCoy. Okay, so let me get. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a bunch of text messages coming through and all kinds of stuff. Okay, as y'all see, I haven't changed anything. We're still on number 53, Janice O'Neill. So again, Andy, shout out to Andy for donating two crappie rods, man, to go towards this donation drive. So the first one is for again an ACC crappie stick. Let's see, random number generator, 62.
Not taking.
Woo! Boy, not taking, tearing it down. Do you hear me?
He on the money tonight. Not taking.
Man, not taking got it going on. Ain't none of y'all name not taking this. All right, so here we go again. Let's see, get you in focus. 39.
Pastor Quincy Milliken.
Hey, look out now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's awesome stuff.
So Pastor Quincy, if you would, man, get in touch with me at the same email address. And what we're gonna do, the way me and Andy worked it out, is that
To your door.
yeah. We're getting it from Andy to your door. So if you would send me a message or a Facebook message, it doesn't matter. I think I've spoken with Janice on Facebook before. So if you want to, Pastor Quincy, send me your mailing address and I'll forward that to Andy, and we're gonna get one out to you ASAP. Okay. And we have one more ACC crappie sticks to give away, y'all. Let me get that thing in focus. My left is right. My left is right. My right is left. All right, y'all see it. It's the last one. Drum roll, please. Ding. 27. Who we got?
27 is
Don't tell me.
not take.
Oh my word.
Ooh. Yes, sir.
My man Greg Nichols said, "Come on, 65. With your bad self."
65 is a lie.
65 is a lie. Here we go. Y'all ready?
That's gonna be a trip. Watch this.
Watch this. 79. I feel like we just
Tamika
got.
Craig.
Oh, look out, man.
Sister Tamika.
Sister Tamika.
My God.
My savior. All right, guys. So that listen, random number generator on Google. Again, I want to say thank everybody for the support, the awesome support. Listen, Kyron did an awesome job shouting out the Hook City TV family. I should have did it too, but man, I had so much on my mind, and my man covered a whole lot. But I want y'all to know from the bottom of my heart, from the day I started posting YouTube videos, man, y'all have shown nothing but love and appreciation towards me, my dad, my brother Kyron, and everybody else who has been on this channel with me, helping me to grow this thing. Because of course, it ain't Fishing Ken by itself. Without Hook City, it ain't possible. Without the Labrador Retriever, this thing wasn't possible. Without Cowboy Roy, without Mandel, without listen, the list goes on and on and on. I don't want to take all the credit at all. And then on top of that, all Without my Lord and Savior, ain't none of this possible, y'all. So thank you, Jesus, and thank you, family. Hook City TV family, man, y'all rock. Y'all did it again. And listen, I know, this doesn't touch every single person that gave, but we didn't want to ask you guys for something without at least offering a chance, offering, something in return. Look, and if you did not win, listen, man, we're still going to be making content. I'm still going to be answering questions. I'm still going to be answering the best way I can. We're working full time, so give you boy a little bit of time, man. But listen, we out here. We out here. If nobody told you, I love each and every one of y'all. We appreciate the support and God bless you. So again, we're gonna name it off. I'm not gonna show you this handwriting
So
because
listen, before you
go
do
ahead,
that,
hit it.
one thing I wanted, man, I was just so this is just I got a bonus.
Come on.
Um, so let's do one more. I want to throw in a fellowship trip.
Yeah, man.
Um, it may not be God style, but it would be we go fishing and go catch some fish type situation.
Right on. Right.
Um,
Well,
I,
well, listen. If you gonna do it,
let's
now,
do let's.
now we're partners. Now I ain't gonna let you go by yourself, Joe.
Okay, well, man, let's.
Well,
So let's
listen.
go
We
on a
adding two
fellowship
more.
trip.
So we adding two more. We're gonna call them fellowship trips.
Fellowship trips. Let's do
Okay.
that.
Here, let me do this real quick so I make sure I know
And
who
let's
won what.
remember,
Come on,
man,
talk.
903 fishing. He put in a post. It says that he was down with COVID.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
remember him in our prayers,
be
man.
praying for him,
That he gets over that mess
and that God
quick.
would strengthen him in his body for sure, man. I know it's no fun, so
Right. Shout out
be
903
praying
Fishing,
for you.
man. Okay, so we got Romero Davis and Jason Bear with you, Kyron. And then we got Cornelius Walker and Janice O'Neill with me. And then we have Pastor Quincy and Tamika Craig with the ACC crappie sticks. Again, we'll need y'all's mailing information so that we can get those out to you. So we're going to add two more. And these are going to be just let's go fishing.
Yeah,
These are not guide trips. These are come hang out. We're gonna go fishing,
let's go
but
fishing.
it's gonna be about fellowshipping, hanging out, and this is just another way for us showing our appreciation for what you guys do for the city and what y'all did for us. Is that how we want to say that thing?
Let's do that.
All right, man. Well, listen. Let me get my phone. Let me get my phone back out. Let's see. All right. So that was the last number we generated. I didn't write
Yes, sir.
those last two numbers down. I don't remember what Pastor Quincy was, but 79 was Tamika Craig. Okay. So fellowship trips. Here we go. 47.
Larry Douglas Sr.
Larry
Douglas Sr. Hey.
Douglas Sr. Larry Douglas. All right. So this one was for the trip with you, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's a fellowship trip. And then we're going to do one with me. All right. And this one is going to be, y'all ready for this? 25. I think we had a 25.
Jerry Lee Spates.
Hey, Jerry. Jerry Lee. We saw him at the expo.
That's too cool.
All right, man. So again, Larry Douglas Sr., if you would get in contact with Kyron Washington, 214-926-1255. And then Jerry Lee, if you're on here, man, listen, get in touch with me. However, you've always got in touch with me. I've talked to Jerry a few times. So get in touch with us, guys. Let's get something scheduled. And I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to
it'd be
hanging
exciting.
out.
Good
I'm
time.
excited and
Big time.
delighted about it, man. So yeah, let's get that going. Let's get that going. Now listen, you guys are in charge of getting down here if you're out of town and all that kind of stuff. We are covering the guide trip part of this thing. So I just want to make sure we had a good understanding of that. I don't want nobody misunderstanding us. Um, but other than that, that is 8 winners tonight, y'all.
Awesome stuff.
8 winners tonight. Man, listen. Hey, do y'all want to chit chat for a little bit, or what? What are we doing? Let the city speak. What we doing? What we doing? Let me see. So now, boy, Zeke all over the place. Zeke all over the place. He talking about he gonna throw in some money, but we closed it at 8. Zeke, listen, we take donations, but we closed it at 8, man, and that's decent and in order.
Greg Nichols say, how much will it cost to turn one of them God only trips into a fellowship trip? Hey, you get where you pulling from.
Yeah, I already know. I already know. He watching. You know, that's my favorite movie. He watching Life. He been watching too much Life.
Tell them these God only trips.
These are guys only since y'all can read so good. How'd y'all miss that sign at the door? Yeah, that's
Oh,
my
that's
favorite movie. You can't miss me with him. You can't
yeah.
miss me with him. Guys, man, that is too funny. Too funny. Man, listen. I will travel to your location to catch some of those crappie, says Joseph Walker. I work nights now. I miss you guys. Harold Moblin, man, listen, I haven't went live on a regular schedule in a while. I actually went back to work as well, man. But I missed that post by Greg. He crazy, man. That's my boy right. That's my brother right there, man. Fish biting on Arlington, bro. You ain't hear from me. You ain't hear from me. Um, give us a give us some fall crappie knowledge, says Don. I tell you what, this is a great time to catch a big fish. That's the knowledge I want to spread. Man, I'm literally, of course, y'all know I'm using this live scope. I'm literally watching fish run through schools of shad. I mean, I'm finding 12-inch crappie with, I mean, look like they swallow grapefruits. 12-inch crappie, they are just gorging. You hear that all the time, and it is true. Some people, I give you a real good one. A lot of people, you've heard them say, find the bait, find the fish. When I tell you this holds so true right now, if you can find bait, there are crappie, I'm going to say it like this, under them, set up, man, waiting to ambush. So if you're having trouble finding crappie, because at the end of the day, everybody can set a hook when they feel a thump. But can you find crappie? Can you find crappie? Find bait, you're gonna find some fish, brother. I mean, this water is cooling and it is happening, especially in North Texas. Kyron, you got any knowledge for fall fishing?
No, I think that's good. Now, fall is almost a mirror of spring, um, from the way that they set up. Fall is very similar to springtime. With kind of how these fish relate, to cover and where they relate in the water column. So if you fare well in the springtime, I wouldn't abandon or get away from shallow water in the fall. But they're all over the water column. Same as in the spring, you can find fish shallow in the spring. You can find them deep in the spring, and it's the same thing now. You can find them shallow. You can find them deep. I mean, they're at every corner of the lake right now, and it'll be that way until it chills down a little bit more, and then they'll kind of transition out to either very shallow or a little bit deeper. But right now, you so the harder question is, where aren't they?
Right.
Right now, that's the question. I mean, just about everywhere you have a live imaging unit, you turn that thing on, you're gonna just about see some fish. You're gonna have to really do hard to not find fish. They're everywhere right now. So it's a really good time to get out, and it's a really good artificial bite. So there was a time where you really almost needed to have live bait, but you don't have to go get any minnows. Get you some live bait. Try a variety of sizes. Big baits, they'll eat big baits now. Ken said he's finding a 5-inch shad in them. So
Yes.
don't be afraid to throw a 2.5, 3-inch bait at them. They have no problem. Matter of fact, they tend to hit those a little bit more aggressively than the smaller baits. I mean, if you want to feel the thump and the thud, try something bigger and just get the full experience of a thump. Because they're gonna hit him pretty hard. So
Right on. Right on.
mhm.
Thank you for that, man.
Yeah.
Byron Skinner says, just let's see, let's put that up. Just glad to see you guys' profession godliness through the sport of fishing. God bless you both.
Man, bless you, brother. Yes,
God
sir.
bless you right back. Thank
Appreciate
you,
you, man.
man.
Thank you.
Let's see. Then my man, Common Folk. He asked what the subscriber count is right now. That is a good question because I quit looking. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. But we're sitting at 96,844 subscribers. So, man, listen,
Let's
I'm
go
I'm a
100K. Let's go.
man, we working on it. It's slow but it's show, man. Shout out to my man Mark Williams. Listen, really good crappie fisherman, man. I did some wade fishing with him. He says crappie are mixed with bass in the shallows chasing shad. So
Hmm.
I think that kind of rings to what you were just saying. Where aren't they right now? I
Right.
just spoke about crappie in being in the deep water under shad, and now Mark is saying he can find them in
Find
the
the shallow.
shallows
Sure.
chasing shad.
That's right.
Let's see, where we at? Okay, here's one from my man Chat Jock. He asked, "Do you keep your lithium battery in a box?" So I use the Amped Outdoors lithium. I think it's a 48 amp hour. What I did when I received mine is I went to Amazon, and what I bought was an ammo box, and I got a negative and positive post and screwed those into the box. So yes, I keep mine in a box, and it does not stay on the boat. I take it off to charge it. But that's just um, the lithium battery for my live scope. Now I also do have a 24 volt lithium battery for my trolling motor, which stays in the boat, but it does have a separate charger for it. Kyron, you kind of got a little interesting setup. Do you actually keep your lithiums in anything?
Yeah, they're in a they're in a compartment in the front of my boat. It's a dry safe, so it keeps them from getting wet. But I use Milwaukee batteries, kind of those lithium tool powered. Um, the batteries that power lithium tools,
Yeah.
so they're really small, lightweight. So, but yes, I do have them in a compartment where they're away from the elements. Don Allo made a post. He says I don't have live scope, but I do have
Oh, man.
electronics. Um, well, that's a good thing. I mean, 2 years ago, I didn't have live scope, so it's not an essential to catching fish. We have to go back to those days. We can, as long as you have ideally side imaging, um, down imaging, 2D. You utilize those tools that you have, and you can still catch plenty of fish. Brush piles, even on timber. It's just a matter of you don't have maybe some of the advantages of live imaging, where you can see fish, as they move off of timber. Sometimes you may make a pass with a side imaging unit and it shows you that fish there, but what it doesn't show you is that by way of you scanning past the tree or moving past the tree with your engine, that he left. So they come back and try to fish that tree, and that fish may be gone. But that being said, you can still process trees at that point. It's just a matter of number. It's a numbers game. So, if you see a depth with consistency with with side imaging, if you see them at 12 foot, kind of use that as a basis to build and drop your line down 12 foot and process trees. You may go down an additional 2 to 4 foot, 12 to 16 foot range, fish fast. Because right now, if they're going to hit it, they're feeding up, they're getting ready, putting on weight. So they should, if they're going to hit it, they're going to hit it. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time, but it's just about, using those tools that you do have. So you're not dead in the water just because you
Right.
don't have live scope. You
Correct.
can still do very well without
Man, and listen, and we did for years,
it.
guys. And what it is, one thing you develop is feel.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can't take away. You might take away my live scope, you might take away a lot of things, but once you develop feel, hey man, hey Kyron, I got a surprise for you.
All right.
Um, I got a surprise for you, man. Somebody asked to join our live. Do you mind somebody joining our live?
No, come on.
He might help us answer some questions and such. Let's see.
What's going on, Zeke?
Hello,
What's
There
up?
he is, Kyron. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Thank you guys.
Zeke,
Thank you
Zeke.
guys for bringing me on. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
yeah,
Thank you for
yeah.
being on, brother.
So, guys, let me do something real quick before we talk to you, Zeke.
Yes,
Jerry
sir.
Lee Spates just came on, and I want to let you know, Jerry Lee, you are one of our 8 winners, man. We got to get together. You won a fellowship trip. We added 2 extra trips to the whole thing. So there's a fellowship trip that me and Kyron added on, and we drew your name to come in fellowship with Fish and Ken, man. So if you would, man, get with me when this live is over. And listen, man, we're gonna have a good time doing some fellowshipping.
That's cool.
Larry Douglas, if you're here, you did win a fellowship trip with Kyron, so please get in touch with him. And then I'm gonna go back over this one more time because I know people are filtering in and out. Romero Davis, you are our first winner for a guide trip with Kyron Washington for bluegill or crappie. And then of course Jason Bear, man, we appreciate you for being on. He says, I'll shoot you a text tomorrow about a bluegill trip,
Okay, good
Kyron.
deal.
And then we have Cornelius Walker. I have not seen him come through, but we'll get with him. Janice O'Neill, you two, Cornelius and Janice, y'all both want a solo trip with me to go live scope fishing. And then we need the mailing information for Pastor Quincy and Tamika Craig. So again, guys, thank y'all very, very much for coming through. We appreciate you. Now, listen, guys, if y'all don't know this handsome fella that we just added in, man, this is this
Zeke.
is this is my buddy Zeke. Um, and I tell you what, look at him getting his hair fixed, man. Fix that hair,
Firecracker.
So,
man. Yeah, yeah, man. Listen, not only is he a studious character, man, he's a really cool guy that I
Yeah,
was blessed to meet a couple of years ago.
yeah,
And beyond all that, this dude is a stick. I think that's what they say
yeah, he is.
about fishermen that know what they're doing. This dude is a stick. So the reason I was glad to bring you on, Zeke, is because we're going to answer a few questions for a few minutes, and man, we would love to get your outlook, your knowledge on some of these questions that we might be getting. So, guys, listen, we only got 46 people on with us right now, but listen, between the three of us, I think we can probably get some of your questions answered as it pertains to crappie fishing. So, listen, for the next 10, 15 minutes, it's almost 10 o'clock, but for the next couple of minutes, man, fire away these questions, guys. And if you have any, if you're having trouble, or if you have a question about what to use, just whatever, man, as it pertains to crappie fishing, hit us, man, hit us. While that might be coming through, Zeke, what you got for us, man? How you doing tonight?
man, I am super stoked that you guys, uh, included me. You and Kyron have, man, I've been very fortunate over the past few years and made my stamp in the crappie world, and super happy about that. But you guys have absolutely crushed it, and I have loved witnessing it, loved being a part of it, loved being your friends,
Yeah,
um,
man.
and watching what you guys have got going on. It's so fun for me to see guys come up and do their thing like you guys have done, and I can't express enough how glad I am and how happy I am to have followed Hook City TV. First of all, right?
Right
Like,
Yeah,
on.
let's go Hook City TV. Love watching it. Love you, Ken.
That's great,
And
bro.
Kyron, you too. Like
yeah,
like
man.
you coming up, with Ken and you guys doing your thing. It's so fun to watch. Um, and so many there's so much going on in the crappie world right now. So
That's right.
much going on.
That's right.
It's a little staggering to keep up with and watch and witness and to know what is right and what's wrong, in the world. But
Right.
watching you two do. and doing your thing, and you guys catch. Not only can you fish, but you're able to translate fishing into what you love, and that's God first and foremost.
Yeah,
Right
man.
on.
And that's both of you guys, and I love being a witness to that, and watching you guys do your thing, and having you guys help me personally. If that makes sense. You
Yeah.
guys
Yeah,
have
man.
both helped me personally.
Praise God.
Come to that realization, and enjoy that, and you guys kill it every year. So I love it, and thank you guys for allowing me to be on with you and enjoy this experience. So
So, man.
Man, God bless you, brother. We
Yeah,
we
man.
appreciate you,
For
man.
sure.
And again, man, since the day you walked out of the shop, when I was getting my live scope put on, man, you've been nothing but cool, been a friend and been a brother to me, and I appreciate you for that, man. Appreciate
yeah,
it a lot, and thank you for all those kind words, bro.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you.
Hey
no,
guys,
I'll never forget. I'll never forget when Ken first came in. He was, man. I've been blessed and fortunate enough to meet a lot of people in the fishing world because of what I do for a living.
right?
Um, but man, when you came in, what's it been 2.5, 3 years ago now?
It's been a
Yeah.
while.
Hmm.
Been a
Yes, it
while.
is.
Um, you were the second person. Sorry, I'm gonna get emotional.
All right,
Sorry, fellas.
you all right,
Uh,
man?
but Ken, you were the second person. The first person was Norman Vaughn, and I'll never forget it. He's a close friend of mine. Ken, you were the second person who I had never met. This is who Ken Pierce is, folks. This is who Ken Pierce is. Sorry. The day that I met Ken was an emotional day. Um, I didn't know it at the time because I didn't know who Ken Pierce was. To be honest with you,
Right.
no offense, Ken.
Nah, hey man.
Yeah, you didn't know who I was either. I mean, we didn't know each other when we met. Ken immediately told me. He said, "Hey, man, you are the guy. You have a gift."
Yep.
I'll never forget that. I will never forget the day that I met Ken Pierce. And we went fishing. Did we, Ken? It was a horrible day of fishing.
We went fishing though.
Horrible day. Horrible day.
Right.
Oh man, I wanted to take Ken out and put him on fish, show him how to use live scope, and it was a atrocious day. He had his dad. Woo, it was hot. It was
Yeah,
hot.
it was. It was. It
Please,
was a hot Oklahoma day.
that was a tough day. Tough day. But I
Yeah,
will never forget that day, man. Like that was a life changing back day for me.
that's all right.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Listen, I appreciate you back. And I told you, I saw it, man. I tell you what, you have an infectious spirit, man. And you don't meet a lot of grown men, that just got that love flowing out of them, man. And when I saw that, I said, you know what, man, you can touch a lot of people with that. That's something God gave you, man, that, not a lot of people shows, man. My boy Zeke is a hugger. He's a lover. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
and I tell you what, man, that's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. So, man, again, I'm so glad to know you, brother. Listen, we got a couple of questions came in, guys. Um, we'll start with let's see. Let's do Greg Nichols. He says, is searching/scanning with live scope unproductive? Who wants to take the first stab at it?
Said, is it unproductive?
Yeah.
No, it's productive. Um, it's a bit. it's a bit slower
Yes.
than, if you're really trying to cover water. It just kind of depends on what if you're trying to pick a section apart, live scope is the way to go. You just have to know you can't cover the water as fast as, getting on your engine and
Imaging.
using your side imaging, because you typically can do that 4 or 5 miles an hour.
Right.
You probably troll most guys to make sense of what they're seeing, 2 mile an hour. If you're really booking it, you got it on 90 or 100%, 2.5, 3 mile an hour, depending on what kind of boat. But so using the big engine side imaging is faster. But I do think you might be able to get a little bit more specific information with live imaging if you're able to interpret at a high clip of speed.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Some guys can't move fast and really make sense of, a fish ranged out to 60 foot, 70 foot to really know what size of fish that is. And so some of your better fishermen are able to make sense of, I'm panning from side to side, moving 2 mile an hour forward, and I can see a fish at 70 yards and tell if he's a pound 75, a pound 80, or if he's a pound 25. So it depends on where you are with being able to interpret, and then really what it is that you're trying to cover, what you're trying to do. But yeah, live scope, a lot of guys, that's what they run. They'll run, miles on the trolling motor. That's why these lithium batteries are such a hot commodity now. And believe it or not, some guys will absolutely crank up a generator on the boat.
Yes.
To keep the battery juiced up so they can keep trolling and, they can, gather more specific data with the live imaging. So yeah, it's very effective. But it depends on what you're trying to do with it.
What you're trying to accomplish. Now, I think this is going to be a good question for Zeke as well, because the difference that I know right off top is that Kyron, well, you use it too, but for a long time, Kyron, you as well as me, y'all know we didn't have the transducer directly on the trolling motor shaft. Okay. And we have Zeke down here that's the only way he fishes with the
Yeah,
live scope.
bass tank system.
Exactly. There you go. The Bass Tank Systems, man. What you got for us, Zeke? What do you say about that?
Man, so it's look, I get, because of my job, I get questioned every day. Do I put it on my trolling motor or on a separate pole?
Right.
That is the number one question I get. Inbox flooded with it, personal messages, Bass Tank page, all that, just flooded with, do I put it on my trolling motor shaft or on a separate pole? And I have the same answer every time. There is no wrong or right way to run live scope.
Right.
It is a tool to make every angler more efficient on the water. Some people hate it. Most people love it, and that's fine. Now, I'm a tournament guy. You guys are tournament guys, right? It's not all we do, but as a tournament guy, that's to me, if you're a hardcore tournament guy, you run it on your trolling motor shaft, because I'm looking for the 7 biggest fish that I can find on the lake at any given time.
Right.
And if I'm a fun fisherman, and trust me, I caught I caught more crappie before live scope came out than I have post live scope.
Right.
Because I would side image and mark brush piles and throw out buoys on the brush piles and set up on those and put out 3, 4, 5 rods. I call myself a ghetto spider rigger.
Oh man,
that's what I did. That's what I did.
Okay.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
Okay.
I had a 1995 Bass Tracker, a boat that I think I paid $3,500 for, maybe $3,000. I bought it from my dad, and he gave me a deal. That was a deal. And this was 5 years before Live Scope came out, you know, and I would lay out rods across the front of my boat,
Yep.
over the top of brush piles,
Yep.
and watch the rod tips.
That's
And
it.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's
No.
still guys that do that,
Absolutely.
and gals, nothing wrong with it. That's great. So that's what I did for 5 years, and I was about ready to give up crappie fishing. Not I want to say give up crappie fishing. I was about to just give up singling out a species of fish.
Right. You
Go fishing.
And
just go fishing.
let's just go fishing. Yep, let's just go fishing. Whether it's a catfish or a bass or a sand bass or crappie, whatever the case may be. Then LiveScope came out, and I was like, wow, this is really fun again.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have both experienced the same thing. I know you have. Because Ken, when I met you, hey, let's get some groceries, right?
That grocery fishing. Not
Grocery
trophy
fishing. You weren't out there looking for the donkeys at that
Right.
time.
That's right.
Right.
You weren't out there looking for, but it's an addictive thing. I think it's a good thing for the sport and for fishing in general, especially for crappie fishing.
Mhm.
Had LiveScope not come out, crappie fishing would never be where it is right now. Never be.
Right.
So I love to see this sport grow, and guys like myself, guys like both of you, growing in the sport and progressing using this technology. It's awesome. We've got guys and gals watching us right now that some of them have every idea of what we're talking about. Some of them have no idea what
It's true.
LiveScope even
Means.
is.
Plus,
Yeah.
different levels. But it's a great
Different levels.
Mhm.
And that all I want to do is try to, and I believe this about, obviously you guys as well. Just want to help people catch more fish and enjoy time outdoors and
Right
less
on.
time
Yeah.
on devices and staring at, their phones, and their kids staring at their phones and iPads and all of that.
Yes.
Anything that I can do to help that, I want to do.
Right on, man. So here's one from Don Allo, real quick. Says, what are your go-to lines during the fall? So I guess another way of saying that is, do you change lines? Do you get more specific on the type of line you use because of the seasons changing? Real quick, what you got for us, Zeke, on that question?
So lines, I use fluorocarbon if I'm vertical fishing fish. I use 15-pound clear fluorocarbon.
Nice.
And the reason I do that is because on LiveScope, just on LiveScope, whether you have it or not, fluorocarbon or mono drags through the water a
Yes.
lot faster than braid does.
Correct.
Braid is like dragging a rope through the water versus dragging a thin piece of
Plastic.
line through the water. So it moves faster.
Gotcha.
Now, if fluorocarbon sinks, mono floats.
Correct.
Okay, so that's what you have to remember if you're casting to fish. If you're casting to fish and you want a slower fall, use monofilament, right? Because it floats.
Or
If
braid.
you want a faster fall, use fluorocarbon because it sinks faster than
Right.
mono.
Right.
So I'm a fluoro dipping and mono casting guy.
Okay. That's good. What about you, Kyron? Any difference in seasons to how you string your reels?
Yeah. The only season I change my line personally is table rock season.
Yeah.
They need to make that a season.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey man. Other than that, if I'm dock shooting, if we're vertical fishing, I fish with braid. But to get it down faster, I wait. I have a pretty heavy weight system to kind of get on those fish quick. But now if I'm dock shooting, which I love to do, I use mono. To kind of skip that. But that's a rarity. I haven't been on a dock shooting lake in a while, so I typically run braid. I like the no stretch. I mean, and fluoro is probably closer to no stretch than mono.
Right.
But I do like the bite registry that braid gives to a non-experienced angler. Sometimes the stretch in the line, if they don't quite feel that the same, and they have to try to make sense of. So when I'm on a guided trip, I want you to be able to interpret a bite sooner than later, because sometimes those fish, they're a little bit more reluctant, and so the better you can feel them, the better chance we have at getting them in the boat. So I go no stretch line,
Right
just
on.
for that reason alone.
Right on. Thank you, man. Listen, we have now Tony Beats, obese. So listen, he says, I don't have a boat. What's the best time to fish for crappie on the bank? I'll give my quick one and then I'll let you guys run it. Listen, man, it is hard to beat a spring bite if you know where to go. But number two, if you can find a small creek in the wintertime when the shad push into these creeks to try to find warmer water, it can be just as explosive, if not better. What say you, Zeke?
I completely agree with you, Ken. Right now, I'm in Northeast Oklahoma,
Right.
and this translates really throughout the South. And I'm not saying I'm in the South, fellas. I don't
It don't
count.
bother me. I don't
Okay,
even care.
okay, but I don't misunderstand. I'm not in the
Right.
South.
Right.
Northeast Oklahoma, um, and this will translate through Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas. Right now, the crappie are moving up into the creeks, up into the rivers. If you've got a 15 to 30,000 acre lake per se, crappie are moving into the creeks and rivers. Um, Lakes are low right now because we haven't had a lot of rain, so
Correct.
those crappie might get jammed up in between main lake and the river. So don't hesitate to check the mouths of your creeks
Yes.
and the rivers, because that's where I'm finding them right now for sure. Um, but that's where they're moving to now. Dead of winter, people think there's a best time to bank fish. Obviously, the spring. Ken, you nailed it. That is the best time to bank fish for crappie is
That's
in the
right.
springtime.
Mhm.
Late into February through mid-April,
Yep.
and you can catch them shallow, catch them on the banks. But there is no reason right now
Yes.
in the wintertime you can't go to the banks of these creeks and catch crappie. I promise you guys, they're there. They
Yes.
Right.
are they're there. That's where they're moving to.
Right on.
So string up your slip corks and spinning rods and get out there and fish those creeks because that's where the crappie are moving to right
Right.
now.
What you got anything to add to that, Car?
Yeah, man. I would say, for a long time, I had to make do of bank fishing before I got a boat, and so I learned how to catch fish from the bank year round. There are opportunities year round to catch fish. But right now, things that would be in play, fishing piers,
Yes.
where they
Yep.
bait them out, barges. Obviously you might have to pay to do, but you have some really nice fishing piers in the area. I don't know where you are, but if you're in the DFW area, quite some really good fishing piers. Also bridges, under bridges, if there's public access, especially if that bridge has a channel that passes underneath it, and there's any kind of depth variation at all, rock, hard structure. Man, we killed them under bridges. I mean, fall through the wintertime. So bridges is a really good place. As we said, creeks is an excellent opportunity. But I would tell you to, even from the bank, I would tell you to get on Navionics. Make sense of maybe a lake near you and just look at where you might have some channels that swing in close to the bank. because it doesn't necessarily have to be a main leg. It can be a secondary channel that swings into the bank. That's how they passage. The fish move down those lanes, and I would tell you if there is any kind of cover, any kind of timber, relative distance to that channel, I would tell you cast out there.
Yep.
There's a really good chance that you will find fish passing through those areas. So, but use it to your advantage. Use Navionics. You don't have to have a boat to do it. You can go on a computer and look on. Just make sense of kind of how your lake is laid out. And that's going to probably open up a whole new world to you, as it relates to where you can fish. But the wintertime is probably some of the best fishing, especially if that system has like wintering holes, those deeper holes where shad can get into and be warmer than the other part of the creek. There are a lot of little creeks around here that have deep holes in them, 8 foot plus. And if you can find a spot like that, it's going to hold crappie for sure.
Yep.
So that would be what I'd say in addition to what's been said.
Totally agree. All right. So Harold is asking, excuse me, are you guiding and how much? So I know somebody that's a full-time guide. We'll let you take that first. My man Kyron.
Yeah, I do guide if that question is for me. So my trips I'm relatively inexpensive. My crappie trips are 2 people for $350, and then $100 each extra person. Okay. So if you're interested in crappie fishing, it's $350 for 2 people, and then $100 per person extra.
Okay. I personally, I haven't opened myself up to doing a lot of guiding, guys. As y'all know, I'm back to work. My prices reflect the same. I have a 2-person max when I am able to guide. But with my schedule, man, it is just really hard not having weekends off to get scheduling. So I don't call myself a guide, especially not at the current moment. I do have my guide's license, and from time to time I will do it, but it's not big on my list right now. Zeke, do you do any kind of guide, man?
I don't. But I want to echo off of what Kyron talked about.
Okay.
He is dead on with this time of year crappie fishing. Man, you nailed it, bro. You nailed it. These fish could be anywhere, but if you're fishing from the bank, there are opportunities from now until through the end of April.
That's right.
To really get out there and catch fish.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And it starts now because they're moving. So, and hey, Kyron, if you're charging $350 a day, man, hats off to you. You better be booked every day. If you guys aren't booking Kyron, you better be, because that is the deal of a lifetime.
I agree.
I appreciate
that. That is the deal of a lifetime. This dude knows how to catch him. He can teach you everything, and get in touch with him, because there's not many guys you will find out there right now. Things are crazy right now. We all know it financially. All of us, jobs, inflation. We all know what's going on. Book this dude for $350 a day, and hey, if you don't tip him, you better.
I hear you.
Call me.
I appreciate you, brother. Yes, sir.
He's worth it. I mean, both these guys, and Ken, I love you. You can guide and do the same thing. But man, Kyron, get out there. You're killing it. Both you guys are killing it.
Right on. Mark Williams says, is the PS21. Now, this is over my head, so y'all going to have to, whoever understands this question, chime in. Is the PS21/22 transducer any good? I know it's forward imaging. Looking at those because of price, and I have the old Echo Map Chirp on my kayak. Hit us, Zeke. Look at it.
I'm cracking my neck on this one. You know,
Yeah,
this
man.
is an old school question right
Let
here.
it have it. Let it have it.
So PS21, PS22. This is old school panoptics, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Okay.
super old school
Mm-hmm.
panoptics.
Gen
Um,
one.
this is, I had an opportunity to see this transducer in action. It's probably been 5-6 years ago, to be honest. Um, so it basically it looks like 2D sonar,
Right.
right? It looks like 2D sonar. You're shooting. It's forward facing sonar, but it's like red blobs out there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It, Matthew Rogers was the first one to really figure out. Matthew and one other guy, first people, maybe three other guys,
It
myself
was a guy
included,
up north. It was a guy up north. I can't remember his name right now.
got maybe four guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
We keep on getting guys, but we're with you. We're
Okay,
with
so I'll say by name, I'll say me and Matthew Rogers, and a guy up north and a guy down south.
you. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
we all know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there were a few guys that figured out this technology with the PS21, PS22. That there was the original forward-facing sonar transducers, and the guy that's asking this, Mark, I think was that his
Yeah.
name?
Mark Williams. Yeah. Right there at
Mark,
the bottom of the screen.
hey, extremely valuable, man. I mean, there that was the original forward-facing sonar technology, and if you can understand and read that, man, just wait till you upgrade.
Mm.
Like, because if you understand 6 year ago, technology that no one else picked up on, very few people picked up on, um, you will dominate today's technology.
Right.
It's insane how quickly it has evolved. And if you can understand 6-year-old technology, I mean, that's like, side imaging came out 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Side
Crazy,
imaging.
right? Crazy.
And people hated that. Now people hate forward facing sonar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now side imaging is a universally accepted technology.
Yep.
Forward facing sonar there's a lot of haters out there for it. But the PS21, PS22 from Garmin, man, it was revolutionary, and very, very few people figured it out when it came out. So good for you, Mark. Like,
Yep. So
stoked for you.
so I guess in all that would be a really cool deal for him. Being I'm guessing it'll be a little cheaper since it's a little older technology, but it still puts him in the live scope game or the forward facing sonar game.
Exactly.
Okay.
It puts it's if you can find those transducers, I'm assuming Mark already has one,
Okay.
and a unit compatible to go with it. I'm assuming he already has it. Um, you should be able to pick. They don't make those transducers anymore.
Okay.
They're discontinued. Um, that's what, four or five generations old of a
Right.
forward facing sonar with Garmin transducer. So if he already has one, it doesn't matter. It still works, and it shows you, especially if he's a northern guy, it
No,
shows you where those
Mark is
fish
actually
are.
down here. Mark is actually down here.
Oh, is he down there?
He's in Texas, correct?
Okay, Texas guy. Look, if you're a dock fisherman, you're gonna know those fish are under that dock.
Right.
If you're trying to do what me and Ken and Kyron do with live scope, as far as the tournament fishing that we do and picking off the biggest fish that we can find, I look for the 7 biggest fish I can find on any given lake I go to. That's what I do. because I'm constantly practicing to try to get better at tournament fishing. But if you are a weekend fisherman, not even that. If you're just a fisherman that's going out to try to catch fish on brush piles, under docks, whatever, PS21, PS22, it's going to show you everything you need to know.
Gotcha. Thank you, bro. So Ricky Collins says, will crappie be in the same area with shad?
Ricky, hey, Mr. Collins.
Yeah. Will they be in the same area with the shad and white bass, or as white bass? Push up every day in coves. What say you, Kyron? What you got for that, man?
Will crappie be in the same areas with shad as white bass? That's not a blanket answer. There are times where they coexist.
Yeah.
And you will find them running together. And then there are times where you will find them isolated away from white bass. There is a time where white bass are actually a little bit disruptive to kind of what crappie are doing.
Yep.
So I've seen it, watching live scope. I've seen white bass come into an area and the crappie get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've seen times where white bass come and the crappie don't move. So he is finicky. He does what he wants to do, and he'll tolerate what he wants to tolerate. And when he's tired of tolerating it, he won't tolerate it anymore. So there are times where the answer is yes, and there are times where the answer is no. But I've seen them coexist, and then I've seen them absolute oil and water, not mix at all. So that's just what I've seen.
The cool thing about that, man, is forward-facing sonar really shows you this stuff.
Yeah, you learn so much.
Again, it's not just about being able to drop on a fish and catch them, but you get to see the characteristics and the mannerisms of these fish. Because there are times, man, I can't tell you how many times, especially within the first 2 years of me having it, I drop on a fish that I would swear, I would bet my check was a crappie.
Yeah.
That sun gun come up, pop that jig. I start fighting him, and I know straight away that's
a sand bass
or a white bass. So, man, listen, they can sometimes fool you, but they can fool you a lot. I've caught a sand bass 2 days ago.
Yes, sir.
Listen, we were in open water. And I'm nailing crappie under these shad. And I dropped on one that's sitting there, and I'm like, "Daddy, get the net. This is no one." And it comes up as a sand bass. So, guys, sand bass, white bass, we're talking about the same fish.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in Texas. So, so I think the answer is yes and no. Don't shy away if you're seeing a lot of sand bass.
Yeah,
but don't stay too long if nobody else shows up but a sand bass. Would you agree with that, Zeke?
100%. 100%.
Right.
Look,
right.
I do a lot of tree fishing, right?
Exactly.
I love catching fish off timber like we all do. So many, and I have gotten this call probably 4 or 5 times in the last 7 to 10 days. A lot of times when you're tree fishing, pole timber, we have a lot of pole timber in Oklahoma, guy.
Right.
We have a lot of pole timber. Table Rock was the same way, to be honest. We were fishing a lot of pole timber. Sand bass set up higher in the water column than crappie do.
Okay.
So if you're fishing pole timber,
that's right.
You might and most people before live scope, I didn't know this, but post live scope, sand bass might be 5 foot, 6 foot down on a tree in the water column, and they're set up just like a crappie. They look just like a crappie, and so you're dropping on. But then you realize that fish 10 to 12 foot down, that's the crappie.
Yeah.
They hang out below the sand bass.
Yep.
So you eventually figure out, drop below the sand bass, ignore that fish that's 5 foot down on that pole timber, drop to the fish that's 12, 13, 14, 15 foot down on that pole timber. That's the crappie.
Now, listen, I agree with that, but I'm going to tell you where it got tricky for me.
Every now and then, one of them big crappies.
Listen to me.
I get it.
Especially in the spring.
Every now and
all
then.
Right, listen, we talked about how these crappie will go shallow in the spring, but listen, in these heavily uh timbered lakes, man, a lot of these heavily timbered lakes, these fish, some of them don't go to the bank. Some of them will go sit on the top of a stump, 5 to 6 foot down. A lot of people won't tell you that, and I might get in trouble for telling some y'all that right now. But
Love it.
listen, sometimes these female crappie will get on the tops of these stumps in water, 5 6 foot down, sunning. We call it sunning, just low enough, to be in the water good, but high enough to catch those sun rays and incubate those eggs, and they will be up there. And you can pass on them if you want to. Look, if I catch a sand bass, I just catch a sand bass. But when I hit the lottery and it's a crappie, I got what I wanted, man. I got what I wanted. So, man, that was a good one. What you got?
Man, I'm talking. I'm not talking about springtime.
Yeah, I know.
I'm talking
I'm
about
adding.
Dealing with now. Yeah.
yes,
Right,
yeah.
right. I'm
Because
just adding.
Ken has brought up the most valuable point in crappie fishing, in my opinion, right now is uh, everyone thinks that fish move super shallow in the springtime to spawn. Not true. Not true.
That's right.
Myth busted. It's
Yeah.
I'm passionate about this. If you can't
Yeah.
tell,
Yeah, I see you getting revved up. I see.
I am. I'm getting revved up.
I see you, man.
It's like these fish, these crappie. I have caught them out in 20 foot of water, spawning, squirting eggs out
Yeah.
on trees in 20, 30 foot of water, and they're 12, 14 foot down.
Yep.
Right.
And it's like these fish don't just you don't just have to catch them shallow in the springtime. These fish are spawning on whatever they feel like they can get their eggs to stick to.
Safely. That's right.
That's their thing. They just have to get their eggs to stick to something.
Yeah.
And you can catch them in 30 foot of water on boat arc trees that come up, 25 foot. Eufaula Lake, Millwood Lake, Grenada Lake. I can name 10 different, Lake Fork. I can name 10, 20 different lakes that you can do this on, that I've done it on. And it's a myth that's been busted. And man, if you want to go out there in the springtime, if you're in a boat, go out there and focus on that 10 to 20 foot of water. Let those bank fishermen do their thing.
Right.
Don't get in their way.
Right
That
on.
irritates me.
That's
all right. Yeah, man.
That's good stuff, brother.
That's a good sportsman.
We're very fortunate, very lucky, blessed to fish out of a boat. Let's do our thing. Let those guys that are beating the banks do their thing.
Yes,
They're
sir.
waiting all year for that. They've been
Yes.
waiting all year for crappie season.
Crappie season.
Season. Right. All right. Here's another one. Guys, y'all help me understand this.
Hey, before you do, man, this hit my mind just quickly.
Come on.
So from the bank, I thought about something. Spillways.
Oh, that's it. Come on, Kyron.
That is the jam.
That's the jam, Jackson.
Spillway. If you can find a spillway, outlet where water is coming out, that is some of the most phenomenal bank fishing. To say it to you.
And those fish are hungry. They
Oh
mad and they are strong.
Oh my God. So spillways is a really good bank
You
opportunity.
ain't lying. You ain't said no.
It just hit my
nothing but
mind
the
when I
truth.
was- Right on. Okay.
Yeah, listen, guy, and y'all forgive me. I'm not trying to carry us too fast, but I want to make sure we get through a few more questions, man, before I got to get off of here.
Right on. It's good.
5 o'clock is gonna hit us, man. So my man Snell Power says, jig head line tie locations. What do y'all prefer and why? So jig head line tie locations. Yeah, that
loop knot, so that mine free hangs.
Yeah, me too.
Some guys kind of cinch theirs down and kind of try to position or manipulate the angle of the jig. But I just use it. I just use a loop knot and let mine hang as it will.
So if you don't use a loop knot, what else are you using? Do you share that kind of information? if you're not using straight to jig?
I just use a loop knot.
Gotcha. Okay. You got anything for Zeke? Are you tying
I,
loop knots or some special?
look, look. No, I got nothing special here. I'm a
Gotcha.
polymer knot guy.
Okay.
I was raised since I could tie a knot. I tie a polymer knot.
Gotcha. So I
Now,
think this was. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
when I used to run a double jig rig,
Yep.
my bottom jig. If you run a double jig rig, my bottom jig was polymer, and above it,
The loop knot.
12 inches was a loop knot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly
I
right.
don't run a double jig rig anymore. My bottom jig is a polymer, and then I've got a 1/4 ounce, you know,
Pegged weight.
tungsten weight above
Yep.
that. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so I know this one I think kind of came out when I'm gonna move a little bit faster, y'all. But Courtney Gillespie asked what size braided line. Kyron, I think that's when you were talking about you use braid pretty much until it's branching season. So
Yeah.
what size braid line do you use?
I use 210, 2 pound diameter, 10 pound strength,
Right.
or I'll use 415, 4 pound diameter, 15 pound strength.
There it is.
I know a lot of guys that will use up to 20 pound. But no, that's what I personally use. The benefit now there are many times where I use the fast snaps when I'm trying to.
Okay. That's what I was asking about. I didn't know if you were sharing that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I use fast snaps. Fast snap.
secret
What do you say?
secrets.
Oh yeah. No, I use fast snaps sometimes. And what that affords me to do is to, if we're hunting for, fish interest, kind of what they're interested in today, it allows me to, put together sample packages. So, I can take it off without having to cut my line, retie. It's a lot more of a effective way to do that. It's time efficient. So now with 210, if I really have to pay attention to the snap, because sometimes they're not sealed at the eye like they should, and braid, when you stretch it, it'll slide out of the narrow
Anything.
spaces. So 415 works a little bit better with that application because it's a thicker line and I don't deal with as much slide out. I don't know if you guys are probably, if you use braid, you go to set the hook, you feel like the fish came off, but when you come up, your whole everything is gone.
Nothing but a loop.
It's because that braid will wiggle through. It's like a snake. I don't know how it gets out of some of these cracks. It does.
Right.
But yeah, I like to use 210 or 415.
What's a fast snap?
Fast snap is just a little clip that you tie to the end of your line.
Looks like a horseshoe with an
Yeah,
eyelet on one
exactly
end.
what it looks like. And so it allows you, I don't know if it, so it allows you to take one jig off and put another jig on. If you want to go with the hook, and a minnow, you can do that. So it's just
is it a metal? I
It's
honestly
metal.
am asking. I don't
Yeah,
know what a fast snap is.
you really don't know. Oh, right on, right on. Yeah,
No,
it is.
yeah, no, honestly.
Yeah, it's metal. It's made of steel, actually.
So like you loop a hook,
You see,
loop a hook on through the eyelid.
no, yeah. So you have an eye where you tie your main staging onto.
Okay, I
and
didn't
then
see
See
that.
that, Zeke?
Yeah, I see that.
That's it right there.
and then your
That's
hook
fast
kind of
snap. Then you
yeah,
just string your jig.
just clips on.
It
Just
just clips
clips
on.
on.
It
Cool.
clips on. Clips on and then it comes off.
How do I not know about this, guys?
Hey, some people don't, some people do, man.
Well, I just
that-
do this.
You just do that. I hear you, man.
Ow.
Yeah,
Listen,
if the fish aren't, there are times where fish are very cognizant, conscious of more things than we think.
Branson.
I saw in Branson, if I had a fast snap on, they wouldn't bite, and
Yeah,
so I had to take it off. You could tell they
Yeah.
had just with that clear water, super crazy visibility. But most times it doesn't matter. We're fishing in stained water, so it is not a problem down here. So it's a problem when it's a problem. Most times it's not a problem.
And it's a
Right.
quick, easy way that you can change your bait out, change
Or
your
even if
jig
you,
size out.
yes. So jig head sizes, man. If you want to go from plastic and you see that they're nipping on it, you want to switch
Feather
to
on.
a feather jig, and it's really good for. I I'm
That's
sure most
awesome.
of us, we're either got a pair of scissors or we're biting that mono or that fluoro line. Well, of course, with braids, you can't do that. So the best thing to do is add a fast snap. They call them no knot fast snaps, and it just allows a quick exchange. You know what I mean? So you're not cutting 6 or 7 inches of line off every time you change jigs from
That's
one.
awesome. I
Yeah,
love it. I
yeah.
honestly didn't know about it. That
Oh
was a
yeah.
true question. Um, and I will be a customer.
There it is. There
Yeah,
it
I
is.
think you'll love them, man. I think you absolutely love them.
Me too.
I'll
I
be a
really
customer. That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
really do. Marcus Bell says, Hook City, have you checked out those new tungsten jig heads from Euro Tackle, the ESR jig head? They show up better on live scope. So, Marcus, I haven't gotten my hands on them yet. The ones that have just dropped are actually for the ice fishing guys. So they're super tiny, and not really made for the application that I would use them for. So, if I remember right, my man Benoit over there at Euro Tackle says that the larger size, for vertical jigging and casting and such, I believe will be ready by the spring. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to ask again and get back with y'all. But I've seen them. Yes, it is pretty cool that it has a flat nose and a flat top on it, which hopefully, I think the idea is that the pings will hit those flat surfaces and bring a brighter, bigger return. So how all that works, don't quote me on it. We'll get back to you on that one. Let's see. I'm moving. Uh, okay, here's Jerry Lee, man. One of our winners tonight says, "What's a good battery to run a live scope for 10 plus hours?" I'm
Mm.
gonna start by saying, listen, I appreciate Amped Outdoors. They're the ones that sent me the battery, and I have been in love ever since. I use the 48 amp hour, and it lasts me 8, 9 hours of fishing. I can get 10 out of it. I don't like so it starts at about 16.2, and then it'll drop, before it dies to about 11, 11.0, I think. And I usually can get about, I want to say 9 to 10 hours out of it, but I don't like when I drop below about 14.0 amps. So that's my answer to that. Amped Outdoors. Y'all got
I
anything in
think it
the
depends on, and Zeke would know better. I think it depends on what graph you're trying to power
bang?
because the amp draw is different.
Yes.
So, my experience, I used to run a 10, and it had about an amp per hour draw. So if I'm running, 12 amp hour batteries, I could literally get 12 hours out of it
Yep.
if the batteries are legit. And I run Milwaukee, so they're pretty legit batteries. What I find though is that the 12, so I moved to a 12-inch 126 SV, and he pulls about 1.4 to 1.5 amps an hour. So he's under, he pushing me right at the nine and some change. So if you're running a 93 SV, do we lose it? If we're running a
Oh
90
yeah, we did.
a
We did.
93 SV, then obviously you'll get a lot longer. So I think you have to make sense of what unit you're running. The more processors in those units, if you start moving up to your
The more draw.
86s, your 8612s, 8616s, more power, more amp draw. And so you make sense of what your amp draw is on your unit, and then you can then determine what kind of battery you need for that unit. If that makes sense.
Right. Right. Yeah, it looks like we might have lost Zeke. Maybe his phone died. I'm not sure. Um, but I tell you what, man, I personally have enjoyed this live, man.
Yeah, it's been good stuff, man.
I
You
really
really
had a good one. Listen, Kyron, thank you for being on, brother. Thank you. Listen, if y'all don't know, guys, the reason I'm even fishing the Wally Marshall Classic, excuse me, is because Kyron got the invite and he asked me to join him and be his partner in doing so. So, man, publicly, bro, I want to thank you for the opportunity to fish alongside you, man, and to listen and to give God the glory alongside of you, man.
Yeah, man, that's right.
It's been an honor, and I really appreciate you entrusting me to be some kind of fisherman beside you, man, to see
Yeah,
what
bro.
we can do out there.
It's been good stuff, man, for
So
sure.
thank you a lot, man. Guys, listen, it is 10:42. My eyelids are getting heavy and my vision is getting blurry. So I'm gonna go in here because I've been going all day, been to work. Did a little trip this evening. Helped out a brother, a friend of mine, and man, listen, I need to lay down. I ain't even looked at my wife and my daughter good, and I know my
Oh.
baby is asleep. Um, so man, listen, I've had a great time. Congratulations to all of our winners.
Yeah, thank you
Um,
guys.
Kyron, do you have anything in closing, brother?
No, man, I know. I think this has been good. Again, thank you, Hook City.
Thank
Those
you.
that are Hook City family, and man, I would love to see us push it to 100,000 views. And I believe in God's time. I mean, you'll get there, but
Yeah,
just keep doing it the right way. We'll move at this pace, but it's certainly a landmark that I'm excited about for the channel. And again,
sure.
thank you, Hook City family, for man just the ongoing support. It goes a long way. It's much needed, appreciated. So let's remember, our man there at 903 Fishing.
Yeah, please.
Let's keep him in our prayers. Don't want to make light of that, so that's what I have, my brother. Appreciate you for having me on tonight.
Yeah, man.
And I'm gonna
We're
go
gonna have
ahead.
to do it again, man. We're gonna
Yeah,
have to figure out when you might be able to have a little time. And I know, duty calls in a lot of ways, especially in the way of ministry on a Sunday night.
yeah, for sure.
So thank you, man, for being on. And yeah, we'll do it again sometimes, guys. But again, we thank you. We appreciate you. Y'all stick with us, man. We got more videos on the horizon. If you would keep my man Oscar, Oscar is our editor, man. If you would please keep my man Oscar and his mother in your prayers as well, man. We'd appreciate that, and we pray for total healing, man, restoration. So, man, y'all have a good night. Y'all have an excellent night, man, and even better week. Hope y'all were able to get to worship service, and if you didn't, man, make sure you do some praying and some believing, man. Again, I thank God for the opportunity to be on here tonight. And we appreciate y'all, man. It's your boy Fishing Ken, Hook City TV. I got my partner on here, Kyron Washington, aka Labrador Retriever, man. Hope y'all have a good night. God bless. And if nobody told you tonight, Fishing Ken love you. I'm out here.